I would say that the Committee of the American Bar Association, in passing on the qualifications of judges, has, in a number of instances I know, recognized the fact that black lawyers do not get the same opportunities for practice in as varied a number of fields as do other lawyers. And in appraising these lawyers and in finding them qualified, they emphasize their character and they emphasize their ability, and they recognize that lack of practice was due to lack of opportunity, and they sit on the bench today. And I could name specifically, though you wouldn't want me to, the lady and the gentleman, and that may be some index, who are today excellent judges.
If the rumors around the Tarrant County Courthouse are true, County Sanitation Chief Fred Smith is as good as out of a job today. Smith was formally suspended last week after County Commissioner Skeet Richardson alleged that Smith was involved in some unusual dealings in the relationships between the County Sanitation Department and certain garbage operators and operators of dump grounds in Tarrant County. I talked with Richardson downtown yesterday, and he told me that he had called for a full-scale investigation into what he called the possibility of several criminal violations in regard to Smith's dealings with one particular firm. That investigation has been conducted by an investigator for Jim Morgan, the first assistant district attorney, who also serves as legal counsel to the county commission. Morgan received the text of the report late this afternoon. He said he would not make it available to newsmen today, and most likely never would allow anyone to see it except those directly involved. Without seeing the report myself, it's very difficult to judge what could be so interesting about it that it must be kept secret. From the facts as we have been given them, there either is justification for firing Smith or there isn't. Either way, it would appear to be very much a matter of public concern. At this time, the best information we have is that probably Smith will lose his job, but that no criminal action will be filed against him. But either way, although it is illegal for the county to operate dump grounds by virtue of subsidies currently being paid, there's little else you could call their present activities. Jerry Taft, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth. Tony, are you serious?
Well, of course. Very serious. Wouldn't you be? I mean, you've probably noticed that when the astronauts went up, they took freight with them. Of course, they didn't get it back, and I don't know how we'll get ours back. We may not need to. But there certainly has to be freight on the moon, and many things taken up there. And why shouldn't someone have the contract? I mean, we've always been a nation where big business is important and private business is important. Who pays the taxes? I'm sure the taxes will be heavy, but might help the national debt, you know?
What sort of vehicle do you think you're going to use?
Well, now that is a problem. I'm really kind of worried about that because there's nothing that I know of available in private industry unless that story in Argosy on the UFOs out of Canada is accurate. But so far we don't have anything except what NASA has sent up. And so I guess we'll just have to use whatever's available.
Yeah, well, I guess, perhaps you might want to design your own, too.
Well, I hadn't even thought of that. But since I've thought of this, I might think of that.
Do you have the financial backing, or do you personally have the wealth to do this?
Not personally, but I had a lucky break this morning. After the paper came out, why, some of my friends over in Mineral Wells called and said they wanted a piece of the action. And at that time of day, I assumed they meant the freight line. Well, what else would you, think early in the morning? And I knew they didn't they liked the newspaper, but I wouldn't sell anybody a piece of that.
What are you going to call this company?
Well, I thought we'd call it Lunar TIC Freight Lines. The TIC, TIC, stands for Trans-Interplanetary Conveyance Freight Lines. You don't like that?
We will continue to resist extremism and overreaction. And I suppose we will continue to receive more virulent criticism from both ends of the spectrum. But we live in difficult times where moderation is frequently rejected, where the practical and progressive reasonable man seeking a common sense solution is drowned out frequently by the cries of extremism. But here tonight I would like to state that in my opinion, that if the reasonable men of this nation do not come together now in a sincere attempt to heal our differences and to improve our institutions, both in the law and in other areas,